A goal of this 4 o'clock show is to bring you new perspectives and ideas from people in our community.
So listen to how one man took a bad situation and turned it into something good. And you may remember this man, Jaleel Stallings. Earlier this week, a judge sentenced a former Minneapolis police officer for beating Stallings during the George Floyd protests. Officers in an unmarked van had fired less lethal rounds at him. Stallings shot back in self-defense, not knowing they were cops.
That officer admitted his own guilt and apologized to Stallings in court. But now Stallings tells us he decided not to harbor that hatred and wanted to find a positive way forward.
After the murder of George Floyd, I went out to protest police brutality and was actually met with the same thing I was out there to protest. After going through my legal trials and then the subsequent 3 years, after that, I recognized a lot of different systemic flaws within our legal system and a lot of problems with the police department itself. And I was left with 2 options at that point, was to just be bitter and distrust all police officers, or to be the catalyst for the change I actually wanted to see.
The change Jaleel Stallings wanted is better relations between the police and the community. He believes most police officers are good, but there are some bad apples.
Those few bad apples are spoiling the bunch for everyone else and destroying the public perception of policing.
He started a nonprofit called Good Apples Initiative.
The Good Apples focused on being a collaborative effort. I'm not trying to be the person with all the answers. I'd much rather everybody in the community of different efforts come together and we can talk about the problems and come up with common, actionable solutions that actually work for everyone. We are an organization that's focused on changing the culture of policing and justice in Minnesota.
It's also a resource hub for communities and a place for law enforcement to help solve problems with systemic flaws that he says still exist, bridging the relationship between law enforcement and communities that they serve. Jaleel served in the Army for almost 4 years and believes in law and order, but says we still have a long way to go. The nonprofit is his way of turning his bad situation into something good.
I use it as my motivation to do the work and make the change and stick out, regardless of how long it takes or how much effort I need to put in. If you consider yourself a good apple in and of itself, you are welcome to the table.
And so Jaleel has been on a listening tour. He's talking to law enforcement and communities trying to build out this collaborative.
You can learn more about this initiative on wearegoodapples.org.